Hello beautiful beings, and this video is long overdue. Let me tell you, I've been trying to make this vision board since December of 2019. No, I don't know, bro, but this was supposed to be like a 2020, yeah, since December of 2020, and I still haven't made it. Like, I don't know why, what the reasoning is for, but I'm over here, I'm ready to make it. And I also wanted to film this video while making it because this is a topic that I not only wanted to educate myself about, but my viewers that watch. Something that is experienced worldwide, and I don't know everything about this topic. I know a lot of these experiences like racism and colorism are experienced not only in the US but worldwide. However, being an immigrant, my parents didn't really know how to teach me, you know what I mean? For the people who have immigrant parents and speak a second language, they don't really tell you about it, you know what I'm saying? I know I experienced it growing up. Now that I look back, I'm like, dang, people are, I just thought they were being rude as a kid, you know what I'm saying? But no, motherfuckers are racist out here, and people be saying crazy-ish that they should not be saying, and people should be informing people, especially schools. Yo, I did not feel like my school did a good job in informing me about these topics that are really important. I think that's also because I did go to a predominantly white school, and I do now. Back when I lived in Massachusetts, no, there was a lot more diversity, but now live in a predominantly white place. But without rambling, let me grab my ish. Got these, 3 of them, and got my board. Let's get started. So I didn't find scissors, but I'm gonna use this. I just found it in my kitchen. But let me tell you guys the definition according to the dictionary of colorism. So, colorism: prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial groups. So it's just discriminating someone based on the color of their skin, right? And I just want to make this video to have an open discussion and to kind of get my thoughts out there on this topic, but I wanted to speak for mainly the South Asian community because I'm South Asian, and I see this within a lot amongst people of color, especially in our community. This was coined in the 1980s to describe prejudgment and discrimination against people of color. People with darker complexions are viewed less respected, less admired, and belittled because of their skin color. Like, it's ridiculous to me how just because of someone's skin color, right? And I'll tell you the history. It started back in the slave trade, but to finish my sentence, people are viewed as more aggressive. People of darker complexion, right, are viewed as more aggressive, more dominant, more, you know what I'm trying to say? Because they have a darker complexion. And people who have lighter complexion are viewed as more pure, more feminine, more elegant, more likable. more respected than of someone with a darker complexion and darker skin. This is a problem because people are judging people's character and potential based on their skin color. And this not only happens within, my ass can't multitask. And this not only happens within different groups, but within your same group, your same minority groups, and it's so deeply programmed. This dates back to the slave trade and how people of darker complexion were less valued than people of more fair complexion. And people of more fair complexion had more privileges because they did get to stay inside and had less labor than people who had darker complexion, who had to stay outside, do more labor, do farming. That's how they got their complexion. And even after the slave, like people who were light-skinned were able to get better jobs, were able to get better pay. And it even shows now how people who have lighter skin, light-skinned people, are more fetishized because they have lighter skin. So it's so interesting how far back things can... Oh, I don't have another... Oh, no, I do. I hope they put this in the center. How far back things can date and how it can still affect society till today. And even in India, colorism was already existing before the British rule. So people who had lighter skin were able to stay inside, and people who had darker skin were out in the farms and out in the fields. The people who were also staying inside were more wealthy than people who had to work in the fields, who made less income. Let me take these. And I have these right here. I just don't know how I want to separate it. Like if I want to separate it into categories or just, I want it to be organized, so I'm probably gonna make it organized. Okay, I'm gonna write my 4 categories, but I was gonna say, and when the British rule did happen, they not only colonized the land, their culture, but also people started to desire more of a Eurocentric beauty standard. And this even years and years and decades, you can still see now that people still desire a Eurocentric, fair skin beauty standard. For example, Fair and Lovely. Many people have used Fair and Lovely to make their skin lighter. And it has been promoted so much. And you can even see half the people in Bollywood movies have much fairer skin, and the ones that don't have fairer skin are usually people who are the villains. Not only that, but parents who have darker complexion child the parents are telling their kids that something is wrong with their skin, that they should use Fair and Lovely. Many people have talked about this on YouTube and how they grew up using Fair and Lovely because obviously they didn't know better, or their parents didn't know better, or they were raised to believe so. This is due to white supremacy, that white people are genetically superior or better than of other races. And this, how do you spell entrepreneurship? Let me take this. The idea of white supremacy is so deeply embedded into people that people within our own South Asian community, people within our own communities are discriminating against each other. Like, for example, for the African American community, and I think it was, I believe, the 1900s, if you were lighter than a paper bag, you were able to get into places, maybe parties, or get into social events. But if you were darker than a paper bag, you weren't able to. Like, how ridiculous is that? Racist ideas and colorism was so deeply embedded into African Americans that when the Indian immigrants started to come, it was easier for them to continue that within the South Asian community. The racism, the colorism, it still continued, and it still continues even after decades. I feel like we need to stop normalizing generational traumas and biases and racial comments, because this is what add on to what has already been created and been here for decades. And if we don't educate ourselves on these topics like racism, like colorism, like discrimination, and all these important discussions that we need to have and teach our kids and ourselves, we are going to continue repeating and doing and making racist comments and having biases and believing that because of someone's skin color they are better, because of someone's skin color they are not capable or they're not valid, because it's simply not true. Consciously, some of us might do that, and it's important to be conscious of our own biases, and it's important to call out your aunties, your parents, your people who do and are biased and are colorist, and educate them, especially your children, because they are the next generation. Guys, my camera died, but I apologize if there's jump cuts. I just feel anxiety filming this video, probably because I haven't filmed in a bit and Bobita's in the other room, and I feel more anxiety when people are hearing me film. But this is how much I've done so far. That's all you're gonna get to see, maybe, because I don't really like showing people the vision board, plus I'm not done. So when I was younger, I didn't realize, why do I want to fidget with this? So when I was younger, I didn't realize what colorism was, what racism was. I heard the terms before, but because, you know, when you have immigrant parents or when your parents aren't educated, it's they can't educate you. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have educated people around me, so what I learned was what I heard. You know what I'm saying? Through school, through friends and stuff like that is what I kind of started to like. That's what my belief system started to develop upon. Do you know what I'm trying to say? With like the people around me, right? As I started to grow up and learn more about these topics and reflect on my life and the experiences I had went through, I look back and I'm like, dang, I had some ridiculous experiences and some things that people would say, especially in my own community, that shouldn't be said. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I want to share some with you guys is because I know people out there, especially, or I'm talking for all people of color, like, if someone says something to you, I advise you to speak up for yourself, honestly. Or, and if you have been through a lot of traumatic experiences in this topic, I recommend counseling. I recommend talking to people because it's very important. I'll put up some pictures, but when I was younger, I was I had a darker complexion than the rest of my family, and for people of color, like, as the seasons change, your skin also goes along with it. So in the summer, I would definitely had I was a tanned gal. Like my skin was darker, but in the no, I'm at the summer. And then in the winter, like I started to, become lighter and stuff like that. So whenever, I thought this was normal, but whenever like my aunts or like family who haven't seen me in a while, they're always said like, I always remember them saying like, you're so dark, or like or just pointing something about my skin. And as a kid, I just saw like whatever. But as I grew up, I'm like, why is that the first thing you gotta say? You know what I'm saying? And like they would tell me to take more showers because I had a darker skin tone, because they thought it was moila. Moila means dirty in Nepali. Because obviously when you have darker skin, you have hyperpigmentation. I got hyperpigmentation here. Obviously I got some foundation, so you can't really see, but here, and like my elbows right here, and like different shades of color in my body. So in my knees, they would tell me to like, because we used to you know how you guys have like loofahs and like washcloths to like scrub your body with? We used rocks to get the dirt off and stuff like that. So like my mom would scrub it thinking that it's dirty, and like they would make like snarky comments about my elbows. They're like, why are your elbows so dark? Or like, why are you so dark? And like there was a point in my life where like I think a couple years back, because people pointed out so much, that like I started to wear sweaters. And like no matter, like man, it was hot, and like I didn't realize why I kind of wore the sweaters, but like I feel like subconsciously I did, and it was because like I didn't want to get darker. Like, cause I tan really fast, especially my face. I didn't want to get darker because one, the things that people said, and two, like I didn't find myself to be beautiful when I did get darker. Right, so I would wear sweaters whenever we went out, and they would say, why are you wearing sweaters? It's so hot. And then when I take it off, they would make comments about my skin. And it's not just me, there's a lot of men and women out here who have had these same experiences, who have had even worse experiences, who have had their parents bleach their skin. And these things are something that needs to be talked about and addressed, no matter if you are a person of color or if you're not a person of color. Because just because something has not happened to you or people around you, or you don't see it, does not mean it doesn't happen. And with TikTok, fetishizing people who have lighter complexions, picking and choosing what you want from a certain features, that's what I'm trying to say, or picking and choosing certain features you like about someone and you want, and like stuff like that. It's ridiculous. Or like what is it, preferences. And some of these kids out here are not loving themselves, not appreciating or seeing how beautiful the color of their skin is, because they've been told how they're dirty, how masculine they are too. Especially, oh my goodness, in the South Asian community, like if you have a darker skin, you're viewed as more masculine too. And I'm not gonna sit here saying these things still don't affect. I'm not gonna sit here and say that these things don't affect me today. Like some of these things are still affecting me, and I'm still trying to move past them and see the beauty that I have within my own self and my own skin color and the way that I look, right? Or we choose to not recognize our own wrongdoings. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, and biases and prejudgments before we even know a person is going to lead us the wrong way. And it's going to make history repeat itself, and we're not setting good examples for the youth. Like I am the youth, you know what I'm saying? We're not setting good examples for younger children who are even younger than me. As a community, I advise you to speak up, and I advise you to call out racism and colorism and educate yourself. And I appreciate you. Yo, I'm stuttering so much. If you made it till right now, to the end of this video, I appreciate you, and I hope you guys like this video, and more videos to come for sure. I've just been busy, but I appreciate you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.